Referee Ryan Corpus. Now let's call on the starters of PLDT high-speed hitters. Starting off with their team captain, number 3, Mika Reyes. At number 4, Jules Samonte. Number 5, Erica Santos. Jersey number 12, Rhea Di Maculangan. At number 13, Del Palomata. Wearing jersey 19, Jovi Prado. Libero is number 8, Kath Arado. Head coach is Ralph Ricafort. And now the starting lineup are the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. Starting off with their team captain, Abigail Marano. At number 3, Ivy Laksina. Jersey number 4, Victonara Galang. At number 8, Myla Pablo. Wearing jersey number 9, Kim Fajardo. At number 13, Kim Kiana D. Starting libero is number 5, Don Macandili. Head coach is Regine Diego. This match is under the regulation and supervision of the Games and Amusement Board. Good luck to both teams.
We're back here and you're watching the PVL All-Filipino Conference Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores, Green Texon, our courtside reporter. Game between the PLDT high-speed hitters and the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. On your screens, the starting lineup for PLDT.
Erica Santos finally finds her way dun sa starting unit for the high-speed hitters. She used to come off the bench, but now she's starting. And for F2 Logistics, I'm sure the Aragalang fans are very happy to see her back in the fold. And magiging magkatunggali sila ni Myla Pablo in manning their left pin position.
That's going to be interesting to see how Myla Pablo will fit into the system of F2 and Coach Regine Diego. And Coach Ralph Ricafort, on the other hand, for PLDT, making his debut for his new team. So this is going to be an interesting match, an exciting match for all our fans. Neil, what are your early predictions for this game?
I would say both these teams, kung sa player matchup lang ang pag-uusapan natin, Billy, they're evenly matched and both of them have new head coaches. And we know that after the reinforced conference, hindi naman ganun kahaba yung naging preparation nila. So it's all about these teams adapting to the systems of their new head coaches. And we'll see who will play better today.
And the first point will go to F2 Logistics. That will be a free point given to them by PLDT via service error, as Kim Fajardo, or Kath, as she is commonly known, will serve. The Maculangan will go to Prado. That was a great dig. D will try, no go. Arado will give it back to Prado. She swipes it, gets the point.
Jovi Prado, a very smart player for PLDT, always identifying her advantages every time she goes up for an attack.
We're starting to get things going here in our game. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you are Team Bahay or you're using the smart live stream or our Signal Play app. That was a great block, monster block by Palomata, arguably the tallest player in our league right now.
Well read by Del Palomata. F2 tried to go for that combination play, pero walang sumabay dun sa quick attack ni Ivy Laksina. So she has to be more convincing in the next rally so that she can actually drag 1 or 2 blockers.
Lots of player matchups that we cannot wait to see in this game, Neil. And Myla Pablo will get her first point for F2.
As a cargo mover.
Yes, in a yellow jersey.
Also, one of the things that surprised us in the off-season, biglang lumipat si Myla Pablo after that championship with the Petrogas Angels. But sabi nga niya, she really wants to grow.
Right.
And with new teammates, new systems, dun talaga matututo yung mga professional athletes natin.
And you know, Myla hasn't had the best luck when it comes to health. She's been plagued with a lot of injuries the past couple of years, and hopefully We see her shining here in this year. It looks like it as we turn it over to Rain Texon for her report. Go ahead, Rain.
Coach Reg Diego may be a new addition to our PVL head coaches lineup, but she isn't really new to the position. If you recall, Coach Reg was actually part of the champion NU Bullpup squad in season 81. She was also part of the coaching staff of the women's national team for the 17 and under and 19 under squad. Now actually, Coach Reg played volleyball all her life, and funny enough, she told me that being benched taught her a lot about coaching. Sitting on the bench instead of playing on the floor allowed her to pull away and see the entire game rather than just focusing on herself, on her setter, or the people directly beside her. So let's see how she does in her coaching debut here in the first set. Billy and Neil.
Thank you so much for that, Rain. Well, as discussed in the pregame, Coach Reg, actually, she used to be a libero for the DLSU Lady Spikers. She's very familiar with the system of Coach RDJ.
That's why she was handpicked. And again, it's really nice to see a female head coach here in the Philippines.
Absolutely. And I got the chance to speak to Kiana D as well. And she mentioned that Coach Reg and Coach RDJ, they're in constant communication with whatever is happening in the practices of F2. So he's very much involved also. It's an early 3-point lead for F2 Logistics against PLDT. As Myla will serve, the Makulangan will go to Del Palomata. Good defense by F2. Here comes Pablo from the back row. But that will be a point for PLDT. Too strong for Myla.
Kim Fajardo has been going to Myla Pablo a lot in the past few sequences. From the front row now to that pipe attack.
And you'd never have imagined that's something you would hear. Fajardo to Myla Pablo. They did go up against one another during their UAAP days, season 75. Here comes Del Palomata serving for the red shirts. Fajardo to Kiana D, back set, and she is blocked. Ball still alive. The Makulangan will go to Reyes, off the hands of Don Macandini.
Great effort from Aragalang, but that point will go to PLDT. Early activation also dito sa middle hitters. Mika Reyes getting that point.
Good thing Aragalang is okay after sliding towards the bench of F2. As we get back to this game, 1-point lead now for F2. Fajardo will go to Galang. Ball is still alive. Laksina. Fajardo back to Laksina.
And that is the activation we've been looking for dahil pag sumabay na yung middle blockers kay Ivy Laksina, it will be easier for Kim Fajardo to go to that combination play from the middle.
And did you take a look at that slow-mo action from Ivy Laksina? Excellent play from F2. They hold on to that 2-point lead against PLDT. Laksina also, one of the great additions for F2. Really building that chemistry with her team. They give it to Samonte. Maraño sent it over. Reyes to Santos. Picked up by Fajardo. Here comes Kiana D. Right on the money for KKD.
She's been checked multiple times in the last rally, but Kiana D finally breaking through the defense of the high-speed hitters. And we know if she catches fire, talagang
she's going to be unstoppable.
She's going to be a lethal attacker for the cargo movers.
30-point lead for F2. 7 serving for Laksina. Continues to serve. De Makulangan, pupuntahan si Santos, gets it.
Also from the De La Salle program. That was a mean swing from Erica Santos.
And we're happy that she's finding her footing here in the PVL. Decided to forego her playing years in the LSU to turn pro. And it's bearing fruit for Erica Santos as she serves her PLDT. One hand set to Abby Maraño. Mika Reyes.
There was a net violation called on Aragala.
And that point will go to PLDT. Let's take a look at the replay to clarify things. Yes, there was.
It was Abby Maraño who touched that net.
Santos to serve. Straight to the net, free point for F2. As we go to our first technical timeout, F2 leads 8-6. Back here at the Phil Sports Arena and in attendance today in our game, members of the Akari team who also played their first game a couple of days back.
Isa Jimenez, one of the new acquisitions of the high-speed hitters, also decided to forgo her playing years for UST to turn pro. And marami na tayong naririnig na ganito, no, Billy, that they really want to compete in this level of tournament.
And sometimes we can't blame them. It's also for the exposure, learning new things and growing, and that's what we will see in our volleyball players. As we get back to this game, Kim Fajardo will give it to Aragalang, familiar sight, effective.
She has mastered that down the line hit, always looking right but hitting left, deceiving the double block of the high-speed hitters. And when you master that trick, even the defender sa likod ay malilito.
Right. And that is something that we have seen her, do time and time again since her college days. A master at that craft. 3-point lead for F2. Santos will try. The ball is still alive. PLDT will save it and send it over. It's going to be a chance ball for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. Abby Baranyo, familiar move, no go. Here comes Galang. Great defense for PLDT. Fajardo to Pablo. Here comes Chusamonte. Good dig by Macandili. Pablo from the back row again. Samonte will try. She's blocked. We got a pretty long rally going on here. They do not want that ball to drop. Chance ball now for the red shirts. Mika Reyes blocked by her former teammates.
And looking at the approach of Mika Reyes, Abby Maranyo and Aragalang already knew that she was going to go for that short slide. You have to remember that they were teammates before in college, so alam nila yung mga tendencies ni Mika Reyes.
That familiarity is clearly still there. You can see it in the reaction of Aragalang. And she loved that point. 4 points now ang lamang ng F2 Logistics against PLDT. KKD to serve. The Makulangan will give it to Samonte. That was a tough one. And nobody there. Good read by Abby Maranyo.
That was a bonus point for Abby Maranyo. Rhea de Makulangan had a very difficult time in sending that up.
As PLDT will make some adjustments. Let's listen to their timeout.
Kaya dito sumusapit yung pass. Yung matchup natin yun na lang, Abby one-on-one, o kaya haba talaga kaya. Huwag na yung likod sa kako. Okay. Adjust lang tayo sa auto system. Malayo-malayo pa ha. Dandanin natin.
Basta ko lang Enjoy!
Relax pa na konti, sana matigas.
PLDT!
So Neil, what are we seeing on the side of PLDT at this point?
They're a little bit tight, sabi nga ni Coach Ral. You have to loosen up so that you can let the skill set just roll and flow. And it will start off with that perfect pass. Majoy Baron, Tintiamzon on your screens with Shola Alvarez.
And we know Tintiamzon, she used to play for F2. Now taking a break. Majoy Baron also on the reserve list for today. And PLDT will get that point.
That's the right hit for Jules Samonte. Hitting high and hitting long because Don Macandili always ready to pop up these hard hits.
Jules Samonte out of Ateneo de Manila University, and she will serve for the red shirts. Fajardo will go to KKD.
That's what I've been saying. Getting her touches, getting her points. That's the second point for KKD in this first frame.
Both excellent points from Kiana D, showing what she's really capable of, that power that she has. And you can see it in her face as well.
Serving for F2 Logistics.
De Maculangan to Prado. Fajardo will give it to Pablo on the other side. She's blocked. Prado will try one more time. And she gets that point.
Better decision. They've been challenging that cross-court angle at lagi lang nakaabang doon si Don Macandili. So, it's about time to change it up and hit that line.
You gotta commend the trust of De Maculangan and that chemistry between her and Jovi Prado. We have Cha Cruz Behag, Cha Behag now. Miss everything. She is fondly called by her fans. Multi-dimensional player, can play almost all the positions.
She played as a setter, an attacker. She can also play as a libero.
If she wanted to, she could. As we get back to this match, Kiara D. De Maculangan will go to Palomata.
Height is might.
And you know, and Neil, it's nice to see Palomata really improving her game. And I read somewhere that she really credited Rhea de Maculangan for that, really boosting her confidence as well. And height is definitely might. I think she's around 6'3", if I'm not mistaken.
That was a power tip. I mean, if you have that height, if you have the elevation and the power of Del Palomata, pwede naman talaga na hindi mo na pahirapan yung sarili mo and just go for these dump balls.
Simple and effective. Ivy Lacsina, Myla Pablo, both out of the National University program. Maranyo with a serve. Palomata again. This time she was red. Pablo. Samonte with a dig. Fajardo, 1-2 play. No go. Babalik sa F2 ang bola as Fajardo will try again. Kim to Lacsina.
Too much angle on that quick attack. And both of these teams are just trying to outpace each other. Pagbalik ng transition, you see the setters mababa yung sineset, but execution that time around wasn't perfect for Ivy Lacsina, so that will be a point for the high-speed hitters.
And it's proving to be quite the exciting game, just watching these players play against one another. 3-point advantage now for the yellow shirts. 13-10 as a veteran setter of PLDT, Rhea de Maculangan, on deck to serve. And the lucky serve for Rhea with the help of the net.
They will take it. They're just down by 2 points. And Rhea de Maculangan is one of their best servers in the roster. So if you can get a couple of points, maybe 2 or 3 from that line, that will even things out here in set number 1.
And that was a second ace for PLDT. We have Don Macandili, one of the best liberos in the country today. Rhea will serve again. Kim, back set to the other Kim. That will go to PLDT.
No wrist action. Medyo nailang si Kim Fajardo. You can already see from the time that she jumped on that approach, there wasn't that proper arm swing.
Don't look now, Neil. It's just a 1-point game here in set number 1. But strong starts for both our squads. De Maculangan serving. Pablo. And it looks like she's fitting right in.
She's found a new home in the nest of F2 Logistics. May swag pa after that hit, Myla Pablo.
It's looking like a seamless transition for Myla Pablo. She looks comfortable in the side of F2. It's now back to a 2-point lead. That was Pablo's 3rd point of the game, leading scorer now for F2. That was inside.
Again, Jovi Prado hitting long, targeting that end line, getting past two defenders in Aragalang and Don Macandili.
And we've known Jovi Prado. She's silent but she's very effective on the court.
You can see the angle dun sa pagkapalo ni Jovi Prado going above the blockers of F2 Logistics, but she throws that service away. Kaya babalik sa dalawa ang kalamangan ng Cargo Movers.
And if you are in the area, please do watch this game live at the Phil Sports Arena. We have another game later on at 6 p.m. right after this as Pablo serves. De Maculangan will chase it and give it to Samonte.
And this is the variation that we want to see from the high-speed hitters. Jules Samonte disguising that attack well, going for that spin ball.
And she had tall blockers in front of her as well. Back to a one-point game in favor of F2. 14 serving 15. Fajardo to Kiana. They're gonna chase it. It is still alive. And it will go to PLDT. And right now we are tied at 15.
Momentum finally on the side of the high-speed hitters.
And this is going to be our third deadlock of set number 1. We had a couple early on in this set. Palomata serving. Pablo. Fajardo will give it to Galang. They go to Mika. Macandili will give it again to Ara. Overcooks that one. And right now, PLDT takes the lead 16 to 15. And on your screens, we can see Kiana D. She had a fun time in Japan with her family. I think she was with 5 of her siblings and her parents, and she traveled around Japan for 1 month, Neil. I think she left December 15 to January 15. So I'm not quite sure where this was, but she did say she had a great time.
A month in Japan.
A month in Japan.
Ang saya.
And to that we say, sana all.
Yeah, and much-deserved vacation also for all of these professional athletes, because again, we are back to that full volleyball calendar.
It's a new year and volleyball does not stop as we get back to our game at hand, PLDT versus F2. PLDT holding on to that 1-point lead, 16 to 15. Santos challenging those blockers. Just a little too late.
A couple of miscommunication errors here in the latter part of set number 1 for the Cargo Movers. And one thing I've noticed, medyo mababa yung set for the pins, and you can see them trying to adjust. So I think that Kim Fajardo has to give a little bit more height,
right,
para magkaroon ng explosive swing si KKD and si Aragalang.
Like what we were seeing a while back. And right now, PLDT, they have that 2-point advantage here in set number 1. The Palomata to serve, and Kim Fajardo will give it to Galang. They need something here. De Maculangan to Prado from the back row. That was a good dig by Fajardo. Here comes KKD.
Oh!
A little miscommunication now on the part of PLDT.
It was a tight set, but KKD still found a way to get that dun sa corner. No defender there for the high-speed hitters. It was practically a free ball because it was obvious that it was already a botched set from F2 Logistics.
It's now a 1-point game as Laksina prepares to serve 16 serving 17. De Maculangan. Back set will go to Santos. And they're gonna say that's out. Point will go to F2 and they tie this game.
17 all.
And now it is our fourth deadlock of set number 1. 17 all, and that is clearly outside for Santos.
No challenge on the side of the high-speed hitters.
Way too strong for Ivy Laxina, and it's those errors, those free points that you do not want to give to the other side, especially when it's such a tight game like this, and you want to start strong here in set number 1.
But we do like the intention dun sa mga heavy servers. You can see Ivy Laxina, it was a standing float serve, but the power was there.
Right.
And there's that intention of really scoring a point. Sometimes lang you do have to control your power.
Kat Arado. Chance ball now for F2. And they're gonna go to Kiana D. And we love that connection between the two Kims of the team, Kim D and Kim Fajardo.
Better connection, better tempo also on that back quick. Only against a single blocker in Mika Reyes.
It's a great adjustment there from Kim Fajardo. And that is her 4th point of the game, and she will serve. Arado. They give it to Samonte. Kiana wasn't ready for that. De Maculangan, pupuntan si Samonte. And of course, Makandili right there. Pablo with a push. And that touches the antenna. Automatic point for F2.
Kaya De Maculangan wasn't able to utilize both arms. As we say, it's always better to use 2 arms compared to 1 kasi mas kontrolado mo kung saan mapupunta yung bola.
And that's why it hit the antenna, as we can see on your screens. F2 overtakes PLDT 19-18. De Maculangan. Ball is kept alive. Galang. They give it back to Samonte, and she is blocked.
No coverage on the side of the high-speed hitters. Great defense from Abby Maraño.
And F2 now at 20, PLDT at 18. So we got a couple of power struggles here in set number 1. It's a 5-1 run for F2 Neil. Samonte gets it through. Here comes Galang for F2. They go to Reyes.
The block changed the direction of the ball. Yan, nalito din yung defender behind the blockers for the cargo movers.
And that's going to be Mika Reyes' 4th point of the game.
Kim Fajardo was a little bit late for that rebound. That's why the ball changed direction.
Serving for the PLDT high speed.
Back to a 1-point game here in set number 1. 19 serving 20. Samonte on deck to serve for the red shirts. They give this to Pablo. Free ball now for F2. Fajardo to Maraño. And that is inside for the team captain, Abby Maraño.
It clearly was a check ball. And you can already feel the anticipation on the side of the cargo movers. Pagpasok pala ng free ball, they already knew that they were going to go for that combination.
Serving for F2 Logistics.
Remember, Neil, this F2 team, they finished 5th place in the reinforced conference. Right behind them was PLDT. So these two teams, they really want to fight it out here in our All-Filipino conference to avenge and redeem themselves. Galang. De Maculangan back to Reyes. Off the hands of Galang. Here comes Kim Fajardo, who gives it to Myla Pablo. And what a set number 1. Everybody's so full of energy, as we can clearly see. Are we holding our breath?
Yeah.
Every single sequence.
A lot of long rallies here in set number 1. Myla Pablo still doing the damage this time from the left spin with that drop ball. Erica Santos mistiming that pancake save.
And we'll listen in to PLDT's timeout first.
Huwag na kayo mag-abay, kakadel. Hindi mag-alangan ng habol ng rad. Kasi dito naman talaga pupunta. Parang wala na nagkakaroon ng gap. Kasi nga yung pesto ni dito. Stay na kayo dito. Ha? O, pabasa muna kayo ng isa. Kasi meron na lang kahit mag-busy ka ulit. Kung sobrang bilis kayo, job, di rin napapahalo. Pasa tayo, pasa. Ha? Go, go, go!
PLDT! Together!
Basta kayo doon, yung mga drop-ball, sais. Para lang naman ginagawa.
Well, that was a good timeout called by Coach Rald Ricafort. Just because F2 is at 22-0, they're at 19. So we're inching closer to possibly the end of this set.
And kailangan ng konting adjustment on the defensive end for the high-speed hitters. That wasn't the first time na nakapatay ng drop ball yung mga outside hitters ng F2 Logistics. So they really have to defend halfway before they backpedal for a strong hit. Now, there will be a substitution. Man Mendrez will be serving for PLDT.
Well, luckily for PLDT, that was a free point given by F2. And as Neil mentioned, Mean Mendrez will make her first appearance here in our game. Straight to the service line. Fajardo, there's a joust at the net. Kennedy. De Maculangan.
There was a net violation called on Bel Palomata. No reactions there, so that was a good call by our first referee. Scrape that tape on her way down.
It's 23 serving 20. Maraño to serve. De Maculangan will go to Prado. Saved by Kiana. They go to Pablo on the other side. Myla Pablo using the hands of those blockers.
Myla Pablo very busy here in the first set. 6 points already.
6 big points for the newbie for F2. Set point. 24 serving 20 for the set. De Maculangan will go to Prado again.
Always smart on her hits. She knows when to challenge the blocker. She knows when to go to these cut shots.
Also, nobody that was there for F2. Pablo missing it.
That's a perfect example na power is not everything in the sport of volleyball. Sometimes even the softest of tips can actually get you the point.
Just have to have good court sense if you're a volleyball player as we get back to this game. Pablo wants to end this set. No go. Fajardo will go to Laxina. She is met at the net.
Still trying to get that fluid connection of the quick hits.
We have some substitutions, but first let's take a look at this. What happened in that sequence? That will be a point for PLDT. It's a 2-point lead now for F2. Now we got some substitutions here for the cargo movers. We have Tolenada, their setter, and Eli Casilag. We got Kim Kennedy and Kim Fajardo. They'll take a little bit of a break. Some timely substitutions and adjustments for Coach Reg Diego. Again, F2 at set point. Tolenada will give it to Pablo.
Oh!
I think there was a little hesitation on the part of Arado, or she wasn't quite ready, or she wasn't quite in place yet when that happened, Neil.
That was a broken play already. Not the strongest of hits from Myla Pablo. A chance ball once again for PLDT, but nobody was ready to get that short ball.
They were caught by surprise, much like the move of Myla Pablo to the F2 Logistics cargo movers. There you have it. F2 wins set number 1, 25-22. We'll be right back. We're back here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City. Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores, Rain Texon, our courtside reporter. And you're watching the game between the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers and the PLDT High-Speed Hitters. And there you have it, F2 won set number 1 against PLDT. And Neil, you know, both teams, they started that set strong. Right, it was pretty even in the start. Towards the middle, PLDT caught up. And then there was that 5-1 run in favor of F2. In the end, it was just not enough firepower for PLDT to stop F2.
Yeah, offensively, I feel that both teams had their moments, but defense-wise, it was obvious that F2 Logistics did better. They had a lot of excellent digs in set number 1. A lot of broken plays na nasisave sila ni Myla Pablo. And on the other hand, for the high-speed hitters, they had a lot of missed opportunities. Yung mga chance ball na sana, pero namamatay on the first attempt. So that's something that they have to change here in set number 2.
As we take a look at our set 1 statistics, what can you say about the numbers on your screen, Neil?
15 attacks. A lot of that came from Myla Pablo and KKD. They also did better in the blocking department. PLDT had 1 ace, but on the error side of things, pantay lang sila. So again, it's all about bringing that A game, not just on offense, but also defense.
There you have it. And Myla Pablo, she had 7 points in set number 1, the top scorer for the F2 Logistics. We keep talking about how well she's gelling with the team. She looks comfortable. She looks healthy, and that's all that matters. It was a big surprise for all of us, but a pleasant surprise, especially if you are an F2 fan. And now we got set number 2 underway. And what can you say about the system, Neil, of Coach Ralph Ricafort for PLDT? Have you noticed some changes within this team?
Right now, I feel like he just took the system na meron yung PLDT at nag-tweak lang siya ng minor details. Not a lot of major changes.
Right.
Because, again, these players are already veterans by right. So, alam na nila kung paano sila gagalaw as a single unit. But he's still looking to polish a few departments in the skill set for the high-speed hitters. And for F2 Logistics, looks like yun nga, nag-gel sila ng
Right.
tama. Myla Pablo, just happy to be with the Cargo Movers this time. Very active on the floor.
And of course, we know Coach Reg Diego, as we mentioned a while back. She's very familiar with the system of Coach RDJ. So maybe not a lot of adjustments on the side of F2 as compared to PLDT. And now we have set number 2. And we will see how things will pan out in this set. They give it to Palomata. Tolenada. Sorry, that was Maraño who sends it over. Here comes Santos. Haragala making her way to that ball. Chance here for PLDT. They give it to Palomata. Here comes Myla Pablo. She's blocked. Kennedy coming from the back row. Another rally to start us off. Fajardo to Pablo. Nobody wants this ball to drop. Back to Pablo. Samonte. Fajardo. Babalik kay Pablo. And Myla Pablo will welcome us here in set number 2, Neil.
Myla Pablo coming in hot with that sharp cross-court angle targeting the defense of Jules Samonte. That was a difficult angle to make. You have Del Palomata, towering presence. Nasa harapan mo, but you were still able to get past that wall.
8th point of the game for Myla Pablo. Great debut for her in the yellow jersey. As Maraño team captain will serve. That will be a service ace. Puntos para sa F2.
First ace of F2 Logistics. They weren't able to register a service ace in set number 1. But from excellent digging, now pupuntos naman si Abby Maraño on that line.
Maraño will continue to serve. Good serve. The Makulang will give it to Samonte. Ball is with the red shirts. Back to Samonte. Laxina was there as Fajardo back set to Kiana D. A little too strong for KKD.
PLDT finally gets on the board. And you can just feel the quality of volleyball that we have here also in the PVL. I mean, 31 minutes in set number 1. I won't
Just
be surprised
set number 1.
kung ganun din mangyari in the succeeding sets. And itong All-Filipino, ito talagang equalizer. There are
Correct.
no foreign guest players on
It's a
each
clean
team.
slate
It's
for
a clean
everybody.
slate.
And we will see their talents shine through and how they're going to rely on one another to pull them through tough situations. I mean, Neil mentioned set number 1 was 31 minutes. More volleyball for all our fans, which is always a good thing.
Service Palamata.
It's a 2-point game for both our squads. First deadlock here in set number 2. Palomata to serve. Fajardo will give it to Pablo. She means business here in this game as we turn it over to Rain Dixon. Go ahead, Rain.
There's a line under Mika Reyes' jersey, which means that the PLDT high-speed hitters have a new captain in the All-Filipino Conference. However, she says that this is just a title, if anything at all, since PLDT is filled with veterans who already know what they're doing. Of course, there's another big change in the head coaching position, with Coach Rald Ricafort, who Mika described as a good fit. Coach Rald also held high praises for the high-speed hitters. He said that PLDT quickly absorbed the new system despite having limited time together. Let's see if they can avenge their first set loss in set 2, Billy and Neil.
Thank you for that, Rain. Mika Reyes, a new team captain for the PLDT high-speed hitters, has been excellent as well here in this game and leading her team too. And right now, it is a 1-point lead for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. Let's take a look at that.
That's a confidence booster point for Jules Samonte. And a while ago, I was saying na kailangan i-polish ng PLDT yung defense nila. I feel that they've done that. Now it's time to increase the efficiency on offense because they have been, kumbaga yung number nila na check ng
Right.
F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. So that's something na dapat magsabay na offense and defense at the same time.
So they gotta step on that gas. They gotta crank it up here in our second set to produce those numbers for their team. Myla Pablo on deck to serve for the yellow shirts. Good serve for Myla.
Ooh,
That will be a violation called on PLDT.
double contact. Called on Rede Macolangan. Now Michelle Morente will be coming in for Erica Santos.
There was a bit of a break for Mitch Morente, and we're happy to see her back playing competitive volleyball again. New faces, one of the new faces for the high-speed hitters, and she is received with applause from the fans.
One of the things that she will be bringing to the table para sa high-speed hitters is really the non-scoring skills. We already know that she is a power hitter, but she's also a good defender. And Jules Samonte gets blocked by KKD and Ivy Laxina.
And you can hear the reaction of the fans when she got blocked. That was a monster block. The
Just-
Twin Towers, I mean, kung sila ba naman yung nasa harap mo?
Straight down.
4-point lead now for F2. Make that a 5-point lead for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers, and they lead the game 8-3. We'll be right back. We're back here and you are still watching the 2023 Premier Volleyball League All-Filipino Conference. We're live on One Sports and One Sports Plus. You can catch the action on Signal Play and the Smart live stream. We're also live here at the Phil Sports Arena. If you guys are in the area, it's going to be F2 versus PLDT, and what a game we are having right now. Both teams are fired up, Neil, especially here in the second set. We have Aragalang, fan favorite, and Myla Pablo continuing to serve for F2. Lica Reyes with a slide.
That's what you get when you have a perfect pass. So that can be one of the strategies na pwedeng gawin ng PLDT. Mas malaking zone na kukunin ni Kat Arado to be able to control that first receive papunta kay Rhea de Maculangan.
They gotta get their offense going. Talking about PLDT, they're down by 4 points here in our set number 1. For those who just tuned in, F2 won the first set as Samonte will serve. That was off for Jules Samonte. Free point given to F2.
Yeah, these errors really not helping the cause of the high-speed hitters. They're down by 5 points, and it's very hard to get past the defense of the cargo mover. So if you're going to throw away a couple of points on that service line, it's just going to be a deep hole for your team. So they have to get that one stop in this rotation because Ivy Laxina is fearless on that service line.
As you can see, and here comes Prado. Adding that firepower to PLDT, cuts the lead to 4 points.
Clean hit for Jovi Prado.
She has been playing well here in this game, Neil.
And she looks at the hands of the blockers first. Yung mini-second na yun, very crucial for attackers. Para at least you know kung saan ka mas malaking chance na makakapuntos.
And we all know her as a very, very smart player. Talking about Jovi Prado. Her team again is down by 4 points here in our set number 2. Fajardo will give it to Abby Maraño. No go. Babalik kay Prado. Nandoon si Don Macandili. They go to Pablo out of nowhere. We did not see that go out of nowhere. That was Myla Pablo, proving to everybody that she's fitting right in.
And there will be a challenge on the side of PLDT. Foot fault challenge.
Again, that is a foot fault challenge. That will be PLDT calling that. And now the wait begins. But let's talk about Myla Pablo. Neil, she's just been amazing in this game for F2.
Just amazing. And yung ibang teammates niya, hindi naman first time talaga because in the stint in the international competitions, I feel like yung iba dyan naging teammate niya na. But right now, you can just sense that different kind of energy. I mean, the way she celebrates her points, talagang happy siya sa F2 Logistics.
It's like she's home.
Yeah.
And we see it on the court. And especially in person, you'll really see it in her body language as we have the PLDT high-speed hitters waiting for the announcement, whether that would be a foot fault or not. And they're hoping, well, every single point matters here, especially in a game like this, Neil. We have Coach Ralph Ricafort as well, the new coach for the high-speed hitters, making his debut for this squad, formerly from the Petrogas Angels, and along with him, he also has Coach Arnold Danyog, now part of PLDT. We're still waiting the final result of this challenge. But what do you think, Neil? Were you able to notice that a while ago?
I actually didn't notice that. And usually yung assistant coaches yung nakabantay talaga dun sa attack line na yan every time an attacker goes for a pipe attack.
We're gonna take a look.
Oh, that was definitely a clean
That was far.
hit from Myla Pablo. And the point will remain with the cargo movers, and PLDT will lose one challenge opportunity here in set number 2.
So for those who aren't aware, Neil, what was that foot fault all about?
When you are in the back row, you cannot step on that attack line.
Yes. And as we saw on the screen a while ago, she was way back. So that is a clean point, clean hit for Myla Pablo. Score remains 5-10 in favor of F2. Del Palomata with a quick.
That's the perfect zero tempo play for Palomata. A while ago, parang hindi pa masyado nag-aabot si Dimakulangan and Palomata. There were a lot of scratches dun sa bola. And same goes with F2 Logistics for Kim Fajardo and Ivy Lacsina.
They finally found the right mix, talking about Palomata and Dimakulangan. And another free point for F2 Logistics. It's not helping the campaign of PLDT here in the second set, Neil.
That's the second or third unforced error on the service line already for the high-speed hitters. And they're still down by 5 points.
serving for F2 Logistics.
Comes Aragalang. Dimakulangan will give it to Morente. And she scores her first point as a PLDT high-speed hitter. And we'd love to see that reaction from her. And you know, for Mitch Morente, she's just happy that she's back. We saw it in the pre-game. She just wants that passion back for volleyball.
And she's always a person full of energy.
Right. And she's a great teammate to have. Just to make sure everybody is as enthusiastic as her on the court. And here she goes again. Not this time. Fajardo will go to Maraño. And that's going to be a free ball for F2. And they give it to Pablo.
Same style with Aragalang. They can do that trick shot, hitting zone 1.
And that is point number 11 for Myla Pablo.
Well, she saw Del Palomata closing in on that cross-court angle. That's why she shifted direction last second.
And you know, Neil, she's going to be a great addition to F2 in the absence of Kalei Mao as well, who really added that much-needed offense for this team. Coach Reg Diego, I'm sure pretty happy with how things are going here. And we all know who that is, former Lady Spikers. Also, our colleague, the broadcast team. Fajardo will give it to Kiana. That's going to be off the hands of Del Palomata.
Itong F2, they have a knack of really converting broken plays into points. That was a good target for PLDT to take Myla Pablo out of the equation.
Right now, Neil, it is a 5-point advantage for F2 Logistics, possibly their biggest lead here in our second set. Morente, a little too off for her. Another point will go to the yellow shirts.
Low contact also on that hit from Michelle Morente.
So far, things going right for F2. PLDT needs a lot of catching up to do. Calf to serve. Way off for Kim Fajardo.
And now is the time to maximize these errors given up by the cargo movers.
Mitch Morente, serving for PLDT.
Mitch Morente now, her turn to serve. Calf will go to Pablo. That was Arado with a dig. Fajardo, this time to Kiana D. Jules Samonte. Pablo was there, she'll try again. Better attack, but Aragalang was there. They go to Pablo, challenging the blockers of PLDT. Reyes. Kiana D again, she's blocked. Ball is kept alive. A good decision from Jules Samonte not to chase that ball anymore.
Gamble yon for Kim Fajardo. She wanted to challenge that sideline. But no go for F2 Logistics. So from 6 points down, now PLDT is just trailing by 4.
So they're taking it 1 point at a time, talking about PLDT. And they need to get that offense going. Here comes Morente. Pablo. That does not go over for Myla.
Slowly but surely, the high-speed hitters are gaining back their momentum. And in the first frame, they even snatched that lead from F2 Logistics.
It's the same thing that happened in that first set. F2 started strong, but towards the middle, nakahabol yung PLDT. So if you're F2, you want to contain PLDT. There was 3 people in front of Kiana D.
4 consecutive points for the high-speed hitters. And now F2 Logistics will call for time.
Medyo mabagal kayo sa part na yun. Okay? Huwag nyo kayo overthink. Kailangan nyo lang umatake. Tiwala ka kay Ate Myla. Middle mo gumagana. Tatlo yan. Okay? Wala ka nalalansa. Relax ka lang. Kailangan mo natin pumasa ng maganda. Intindihan? Kailangan natin magmadali. Hindi pwedeng kailangan, hindi pwedeng iintay sa kalaban. Okay, tara, uwi natin sa next point. Mas gusto! F2! Movers! Kuha agad!
So a little insight on how Coach Reg Diego coaches. She is the first female head coach here in the pros. So there's a different approach, and we just noticed that during their huddle. And she told the ladies not to overthink.
Din Santiago Manabat, Bang Pineda. Sila
Yeah,
din
Michelle
makasama
Cobb,
sa
yes.
player movements here in the PVL from Cherry Tigo, lumipat siya sa Akari. Si Bang Pineda naman from the Petrogas Angels, lumipat sa Akari.
There really was a lot of shifts and movements in terms of players, even coaches, as we see here in the 2 teams that we have. And right now, as we get back to this game, 2-point lead for F2. It was a 4-0 run for PLDT. Myla Pablo. And that is outside. They're asking for a check, but are they gonna call it? And yes, there will be a challenge called by F2. They're saying it's a block touch, and Myla was pretty confident on that one.
It happened so fast, so we really need to check the replay if that was a valid challenge from the cargo movers.
So this is a perfect time, you know, while there's that little bit of a lull for both teams to kind of huddle on the court, talk about their next moves. Again, F2 is holding on to that lead, but PLDT quickly catching up. They had that 4-0 run a while back, similar to the 5-1 run of F2 in the previous set. So we will see what the final decision will be. Here it is.
Oh, there was a check ball. Dun sa pinky,
Yeah, you
left
can see it.
pinky ni Jules Samonte.
You can clearly see it. I can see Kath Arado laughing with Jules Samonte.
Well, it's
Sabi,
all
ikaw
part
yun.
of the game. Wala namang umaamin talaga,
Right.
di ba? If you can get away with it.
Because we have that challenge, you know, we can't get away with things too easily now. So there was a block touch. 15-12, 3-point advantage for F2. Pablo to serve. Demakulangan will give it to Reyes. And that is in.
Judgment call for Don Macandili. She thought that it was going to sail outside.
And she could have easily gotten that. But she-
Binitawan talaga niya eh. She was in position already for that down-the-line hit.
And pati si Mika Reyes nagulat kasi hindi kinuha ni Don Macandili. And we're gonna check what happened there, Neil.
There will be a rotation error, wrong server on the side of the high-speed hitters. I saw Coach Ral Ricafort asking the officials kung sino yung magsaserve, but only the team captain is allowed to make that clarification.
Right.
And Mika Reyes went along with the serve, so that will be an automatic point for F2.
And on your screen, Sir Jude Turquato, the first Vice President Head of Sports for PLDT, in attendance. As we take a little bit of a break, we'll be right back. F2 leads 16-13. Bingo Plus, the first live streaming bingo in the Philippines. We're still here at the Phil Sports Arena in the heart of Pasig City, Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores, Rain Texon, our courtside reporter. F2 Logistics holding on to that 3-point lead against PLDT as Joey Prado welcomes us. Pablo from the back row. The Makulangan will give it back to Joey Prado. Good save there by Aragalang and Myla Pablo. Nobody there, nobody home for F2 as PLDT cuts the lead to just 2 points.
Looks like Joey Prado has been the highest efficiency attacker for PLDT in this game. So it will be a good decision for Rhea de Macolangan to keep on feeding the balls to her. And now this is a strong rotation for the high-speed hitters. They have that threat in the middle when Del Palamata is there. So that can potentially free up Joey Prado on the left side of the court.
And Joey Prado now with 6 points under her belt in today's game as team captain Reyes will serve. Fajardo to Aragalang. The Macolangan to Prado. There's really no fear on the attacks, challenging the blockers of F2. It is now just a 1-point ballgame.
Now, confidence is sky high for Joey Prado. So there will be a high chance talaga na magkaroon siya ng consecutive points. So that's the right call for Rhea de Macolangan. But at any moment in time, pag nakita niyang perfect opportunity for that zero-tempo quick attack for Del Palamata, ang daming options for PLDT.
Just like that, Myla Pablo, again, another point for her. That is point number 13 for Myla Pablo.
Again, broken play, Myla Pablo stuns the defense of the high-speed hitters. Nobody moved for that dig.
And she's done that quite a couple of times here in our game. Back to a 2-point lead, KKD to serve. Gregor Palumata.
This is the rotation where they can score most of their points from the attacks. Now, Mitch Morente will be joining the fold in the front line. So, 3 attackers for Rhea de Macolangan. And for F2 Logistics, they do have to get Myla Pablo back in the front line so that she can wreak havoc on the defense of the high-speed hitters.
But she's not doing too bad in the back row as well, Neil. Luckily for F2, that will be a free point given to them. Service error for PLDT. And that is Rhea's 3rd service error here in this game. De Macolangan to Morente. Calf to Abby Maraño, no go. Ball is kept alive and they're gonna send it over. Calf to Pablo. This time Cafarado was there as Morente tries. And that is outside for Mitch Morente.
It was a flat ball, no wrist action, no spin. No challenge for PLDT.
That is Coach Shaq de Los Santos on your screen. Aragalang serves. Palomata again with a quick, so effective. Another point for her and her team.
Proper execution is the way to go because kahit nasa harapan si Abby Maraño for Del Palamata, she clearly has that height advantage. So kahit alam ng F2 na paparating yung quick attack, as long as magandang execution, there's a high chance that they will score a point.
And talking about quick attacks, Neil, syempre hindi magpapahuli. Team captain ng F2 Logistics, Abby Maraño. We gotta see that one more time.
No problems between Kim Fajardo and Abby Maraño.
Just giving the points when her team needs it the most. 3-point lead for F2. Samonte will try. Abby was there. They go to Laxina. It's raining quick attacks here in the Phil Sports Arena. Ivy Laxina has some tricks up her sleeve as well.
That's the height that she prefers. I mean, coming from that NU team, Caps Lamina, low fast setting, so Kim Fajardo has to be able to adjust dun sa type of play ni Ivy Lacsina because a while ago, parang nalulunod siya sa taas ng bola eh. Pero nakita naman natin that she was able to score that point. Oh, what a shutdown from Myla Pablo and Ivy Lacsina on Mitch Morente. But a net violation will be called by the first referee.
Oh, we have to see that. Hopefully we get a replay of that. Oh, there is a challenge. It's gonna be a net touch violation as per the F2 Logistics cargo mover. So this is gonna be, I believe, our third challenge of the game. A quick huddle by this team. They are leading here in our second set as they lead the game as well. They won set number 1. And for those who are watching us on the Smart live stream as well as the Signal Play app, hopefully you can join us here at the Phil Sports Arena when you have the time. We also have a game after this one as we take a look at the challenge that was called.
Yup. It was Abby Maraño. Ay, tama ba? No, it was Ivy Lacsina.
Yeah, Ivy
I stand
Lacsina on
corrected.
the left-hand side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a clear net touch violation there, so the point will remain with PLDT. But that was a solid block though. If there weren't any violation, it was a pretty solid block for F2. At any rate, play continues. 18 serving 21 as Fajardo gives it to Lacsina. Makes up for it in other ways.
Proper height, proper speed on that set.
You know, Neil, this is a very dangerous F2 team we're seeing this time around compared to the previous conferences. They have not yet entered our semis since their entry here in the PVL. They're hoping that they will change that this time around. But if they keep this up, they will definitely be contenders here.
Yeah. F2 Logistics just unstoppable. Again, Myla Pablo leading the charge, getting another point off that down the line hit.
As PLDT will call for time.
Na ibabaw sa block. Hindi rin siya umaabot. Sobrang bilis na pinapakala. Okay. Ha? Balik tayo sa plano natin. Yung mga plano natin. Pati sa one-on mo, naaabot pa ng palo. Kaya? Ha? Nakaka-set play naman eh. Kaya lang yung conversion lang talaga. Go, go.
Let's go.
Run tayo on it. Hit natin.
Ayan na, next week. Reality!
Together!
Let's go.
F2 Logistics at 23, PLDT now at 18. So it's ballooned into a pretty big lead towards the end of our set number 2.
Now you see, Billy, how important it is for PLDT to mess up that first ball for F2 Logistics. Sabi nga nila sa timeout, sobrang bilis ng mga atake from the middle ng F2 Logistics. So they need to be able to slow things down. And they're successful after that timeout in getting a point. Jules Samonte hitting the hands of the blockers.
And they get some breathing room here as Morente will serve for the red shirts. Pablo to Aragalang. That goes straight to the net. That's going to be an attack error on Galang. The point will go to the high-speed hitters. They cut it down to just 3 points.
Low contact on that last touch for Aragalang. They still have a 3-point cushion here in set number 2. 2 points away from getting a 2 sets to none advantage against the high-speed hitters.
Here comes Morente, serving again. Fajardo will give it to Pablo. Smart play by Myla Pablo, seeing that there was no one there for PLDT.
So far, I would say that this has been the best acquisition the past few conferences for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers.
Definitely agree with you on that one, Neil. You can see Myla Pablo is doing great things for F2. That point will go to PLDT, but F2 still with that set point. We're going to have some substitutions here for PLDT. Mean Mendres will check in. And she will head straight to the service line as Jules Samonte sits down. And this has been her primary role for the high-speed hitters. That was a good serve. Fajardo will go to Laxina. Single block by Mika Reyes. Aragalang. They give this to Prado. And she is blocked. And that's how we're going to end set number 2. F2 Logistics wins this one, 25-21. This was just definitely F2 set. There are sparks of brilliance for PLDT, but in the end, F2 prevailed. 25-21 in favor of the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. We'll be right back. We're back here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City. You're watching the PVL All-Filipino Conference game between the F2 Logistics and the PLDT High Speed Hitters as F2 takes set number 2. 25-21. Let's take a look at some of the highlights that we had. It has been the Myla Pablo show for the F2 Logistics team as she has just been unstoppable here in our game. There were sparks of brilliance for the side of PLDT, but in the end, it was really just F2 set.
Yeah, the PLDT really has to find a solution dun sa offense na ibinibigay ni Myla Pablo for the Cargo Movers. A lot of drop balls falling on the side of the high-speed hitters. Again, you have to prepare for that soft touch first before you prepare for the hard hits. And now, Kim Parder finally found the connection we've been looking for between her and Ivy Laxina on the quick attacks.
And just an excellent game so far for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers as we take a look at the set's 2 statistics that we have. What went down in that set, Neil?
PLDT had more attack points compared to the Cargo Movers, but it was really the blocking of F2 Logistics that na nagpahirap talaga sa high-speed hitters in set number 2. They had 1 ace, but PLDT also had more errors in set number 2.
And that's why we will see if F2 is on their way to winning this game. But PLDT has to stage that comeback right now. And we have Pangs. I know that was Pangs. Pangs Panaga of the Creamline Cool Smashers, supporting, of course, Mitch Morente, debuting for the PLDT high-speed hitters. And she is starting here in our set number 3. Medyo shy pa si Pangs. Ayaw kumaway sa camera. But now, here we go. Set number 3. It's PLDT versus F2. This is our first game of our All-Filipino Conference. And our day 2 of the conference as well. Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores, Rain Texon, giving us the latest from the sidelines. The Makulangan will serve. They go to Laxina. She had a fiery set number 2. Chance ball here for the yellow shirts. Fajardo will give it to Pablo. Ball is kept alive. Laxina just powering it through against Del Palomata. Great angle also on that ball.
She really targeted the hands of Del Palomata kasi naka-drop na, naka-press na yung hands niya over that net.
As F2 draws first blood in set number 3. And on the court for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers, we have 2 former Lady Bulldogs and then Lady Spikers. It's a connection within that team, and that will be a point given to PLDT.
Prado continues to shine for the high-speed hitters, but now she will be on the service line.
That was her 8th point of the game. Talking about Jovi Prado out of Arellano. Another point for PLDT.
If we look at the trend nung first and second frame, pag nauna itong F2 Logistics, it's very hard for PLDT to come back. So as early as now in the first stages of set number 3, they have to be able to establish a good amount of a lead or at least keep it very close and tight
First,
with the Cargo Movers.
They gotta get that momentum and then they have to sustain it, which is always going to be the hardest part. But not when when you have someone like Myla Pablo in the way, just making things happen for F2. We're at a deadlock now, 2-all for both squads. That's her 16th point. 16th point of the game.
From the attacks, but she also has 1 block under her name already. So that's a total of 17 big points, nearing that 20-point mark already.
What an amazing debut for Myla Pablo. But if you're a PLDT fan, you are hoping for an extension of this game. 1-point lead for PLDT. Del Palomata on deck to serve. Lucky serve for her. As we turn it over to Rain. Go ahead, Rain.
One of Myla Pablo's biggest adjustments was beyond the plays and positions of the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. It was actually their communication on the floor. Myla was never really loud or expressive, so all the talking on the floor is something that she still has to get used to. When it comes to the Cargo Movers' system, sabi ni Myla na sinasabayan lang niya yung takbo ng F2. She told me that the team is already well established after spending years and years together, so Myla is working double time to fully jive into the system. Billy and Neil, how would you rate Myla's fiery first game with F2?
The right person to ask that question to is Neil. Neil, how would you rate it from a level of 1 to 10? 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest.
10 definitely for Myla
Across the
Pablo.
board.
Across 10s across the board.
And you know, Myla, when you really meet her in person, she's very soft-spoken indeed. And you know, in this F2 team, you cannot be soft-spoken, especially when you're on the court. When you're with someone like Abby Maraño,
I was about to say.
you cannot do that. And it's great that she's adjusting well. But right now, PLDT doing very well here in the start of our 3rd set. But here comes F2. That was KKD.
Now, Mendres will be replacing Jules Samonte, that outside hitter position, trying to get more offense from the side of the high-speed hitters.
We're at a deadlock here in our game. Another one here in set number 3. The 3rd deadlock early on in set number 3, 4-all. Rhea will go to Reyes. She is blocked, but that was off the block. Puntos para sa PLDT. Nika Reyes, team captain, also being effective in her own ways here for the red shirts. Mitch Morente on deck to serve. 5 serving 4. They get a hold of that lead. Fajardo to Pablo. They're going to chase that one. And it is still alive as they send it over. Kim Fajardo to Kiana D. And Reyes is powering it through. Single blocker in front of her.
It started with her rebound on that combination play ng F2 Logistics, and she transitioned to that quick attack, but let's also give it up for Kat Arado and Joey Prado for saving that ball.
We love to see the grit when it comes to their defense. Right now, Mika Reyes has 8 points in this ball game. And she is tied with Jovi Prado to lead all scorers for her team. That will be a miscalculation on the part of Myla Pablo. Attack error, and the point will go to PLDT.
This is the biggest lead of the match for the high-speed hitter. So it's all about taking care of that lead until we end this set.
And Pangs should be very happy because PLDT is leading as Mitch Morente continues to serve. Kiana D. Babalik sa F2 ang bola. Kim Fajardo will go back to Kiana. Marian Mendres gets her first point of the game as PLDT will lead us into our first technical timeout, 8-4.
Which setter will have the more excellent sets in the game? Tweet na.
So that was a question from Boss D, Dina Wong. Which setter will have more sets in this game? This is from Chim. I'm looking forward to Kim Fajardo's redemption, so I believe that she will have more excellent sets in today's game. This was from Deiti. I think Rhea de Bacalangan will have more excellent sets in the game. I observed in the past conferences that she was able to distribute her sets very well and utilize her spikers, especially her middle blockers. And lastly, this one is from Melvs Perfectly. I will go for Kim Fajardo based on familiarity with her spikers. Tagal na din sila magkakasama and some of them since college pa. So we will check the official tally and who has more sets as we take a look at this challenge by F2, a block touch, they say.
Don Macandili was actually the one who told the coaching staff that she's very confident that there was indeed a check ball in that last rally. They have won a couple of challenges in the early parts of this game.
So this is going to be our fourth challenge of the game, this one by F2. So I believe this is their second challenge that they called. And to answer our Twitter question at this point in the game. But before that, let's take a look at this first, the results of our challenge. So what can you say, Neil?
Yep, there was a block touch, so good call. Sometimes the players on the floor would hear it eh. Kahit hindi siya visible, pag narinig mo na tumama talaga sa kamay, they will be very confident in calling these challenges.
So that is a successful challenge called by the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. And as I was saying, to get back to the Twitter question, who will have more sets in this game? Well, right now, Rhea de Bacalangan has 11 excellent sets and Kim Fajardo has 13 excellent sets. So let's see how those numbers will add up later on as we get back to this game. 3-point lead, make that a 4-point lead for the high-speed hitters.
Even in the last few conferences that we had, medyo matagal lang mag-init itong PLDT. So F2 has to be very careful because if PLDT ends up winning the third set, they might see themselves in a 5-setter situation. So it's very important for F2 Logistics to catch up.
They're trailing by 4 points in this game. And we'll see how they're going to adjust to this. Myla Pablo. They give it to Jovi Prado. She's been effective. Good save by Myla. Rhea will go to Prado. That was a really good dig by Macandili. Macandili again, just saving that ball. Kiana D. And this time, Mika Reyes gets it through and gets that point. And so what's happening right now for the side of F2, Neil?
Pwede Makulangan going exclusively to Mika Reyes at this point of the game. There are a lot of holes dun sa blocking pattern right now ng F2 Logistics. That's why she was able to score a couple of points already.
It is now a 5-point ball game in favor of the high-speed hitters. May Almendres earning her minutes for Coach Raul Ricafort. Kim Fajardo. Makulangan to Reyes. What a good dive and a good save by Kiana D. And Don Macandili. They're gonna chase it. It's gonna be a point for PLDT. And right now, Mika Reyes with 11 points in this game as F2 Logistics will call for time.
Okay? Puro tayo scramble, scramble, scramble. Napapagod kayo, bumabagsa kayo. Hindi kayo nagbabasa. Magbasa muna kayo. Pumwesto kayo. Mas madali na yun. Naintindihan nyo? Hindi nyo pwedeng ibigay itong set. You cannot afford. It's very hard. Kasi hindi tayo mabilis eh. Kailangan natin kunin to. Naintindihan nyo?
Okay.
Tingnan natin.
Aggressive, aggressive. Let's go.
F2, movers!
So there you have it, Coach Reg Diego. We heard it from her. They cannot afford to lose this set because, as you mentioned, Neil, this PLDT team, once they get that momentum going, it's very hard to stop them.
So kumbaga, it's a non-negotiable for Coach Regine Diego to actually get this in 3 straight sets.
Now on your screens, we have Bongay Gaston wearing a Charity crossover jersey, of course. She'll make her debut later. As we have Ai Baranjo with a quick attack, no go. They go to Mika Reyes, she's been effective. Kim Fajardo will go to Pablo from the back. Better defense from PLDT. Chance here for the high-speed hitters. And what defense we're seeing from PLDT, Maraño. They go to Myla Pablo.
Mitch Morente on a digging spree for the high-speed
We gotta
hitters.
commend her for that. Great addition to the team. And Mika Reyes, and she is on fire here in our set. All right, we're gonna wait for this replay to play out before we address the cheers here in the Phil Sports Arena. Well, that was Mika Reyes giving that point to PLDT, much to the delight of her teammates, but she is a reason why it's suddenly so noisy here in the Phil Sports Arena. We have Cha Behag.
After so long, she's finally back on the Taraflex court for F2 Logistics.
And she has not played, I believe, in nearly 4 years, 4 to 5 years. And she is called Miss Everything. Hopefully we see why here in this game. We all know why, but we want to see it. Pablo. And Mika Reyes is just incredible here in set number 3. Don Macandili, here comes Cha Behags. They're gonna dive for that, hits the ground, it goes to PLDT.
Again, Mika Reyes on that quick attack, and it has been consistent. Ang daming A quick attack plays from the Makulangan. Still no solution on the side of F2 Logistics. They have been scrambling on the floor as heard dun sa timeout ni Coach Regine Diego, and they just need to get one stop.
Substitution, F2 Logistics.
And this urges Coach Reg Diego to make a couple of adjustments in terms of the player rotations that they have. We have Iris Tolenada and Elaine or Eli Casilag checking in for the yellow shirts. So right now on the floor for F2, we got Maraño, Casilag, Behag, Pablo, Macandili, and Tolenada. Tolenada will give it to Casilag. Joey Prado. They give it to Behag. And she gets her first point here in the PVL.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Cha, Miss Everything. who has also built, you know, a solid fan base over the years. And it's nice to see her, you know, even if she has a baby boy, a beautiful baby boy, she's still here. She's still working. Mika Reyes with a slight attack. Iris Solenada was there, and they give it to Elaine Casilag. Just punches it to the other side. Behag. And she still got it. But this ball is still alive. Tolenada. To Maraño, no go. Morente. Pablo. Ball is kept alive. Pablo will try again. And that is inside for Myla Pablo. And they need that fire, Neil. They need that, especially when you have a score like this.
Myla Pablo hitting that sideline once again. I was surprised that they didn't challenge that previous rally. Somebody was already calling dun sa side ng PLDT that that ball didn't go over. Pero wala namang challenge on their end. So it was a good ball. What a tight hit from Myla Pablo.
And we have the team captains being called. A little word with a referee. Right now our score is at 13-7. It's a pretty big lead now for PLDT. Now if you're F2, you definitely want to finish this game. But PLDT, on the other hand, they have other plans. Behag to serve. De Maculangan will give it to Prado. Tolenada. Macandili. Pupuntahan si Pablo. Mika is checked. They're going to send it over to the other side, kind of scrambling on that play. Elaine or Ellie Casilag gets the point.
Mika Reyes was surprised that Di Maculangan set that ball to her. She was not prepared on that approach. Elaine Casilag, quality minutes. Getting a point off the hands of Joey Prado.
And so far, good adjustment for Coach Reg Diego, fielding in Tolenada, Behag, and Casilag. But take a look at that. Joey Prado, fearless on the attack.
Her volleyball IQ is just 1 point. Talking about Joey Prado. A lot of different hits. All effective.
That is her 9th point of our ball game. As this lead continues to balloon for F2. Reyes serving. Pablo. Don't look now, Neil. PLDT, they're on a roll. They're on a rampage here in set number 3.
They're looking to extend this match to a 4th set.
And remember what Coach Reg Diego said, they cannot afford to lose this 3rd set. KKD
Service Reyes.
taking a bit of a break as Reyes will serve. Tolenada. Pupuntahan si Pablo. What a good save by Macandili. And a regalo for Abby Maraño. Much needed point for her and her team.
Abby Maraño just aggressive dyan sa net. Anticipating that chance ball from the high-speed hitters. Transitioning to an attack to get that point for F2 Logistics.
Ivy Laxina back in. Hopefully does something for this F2 team. But it continues for PLDT. And they will lead us to our second technical timeout, 16-9. Back here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City, Billy Capistrano, Neil Flores, Rain Texon, our courtside reporter. This is a game between the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers and the PLDT High Speed Hitters. Thank you for joining us on One Sports Plus, Smart Live Stream, Signal Play app. We got a familiar face, of course, on our screens. Coach of the
Coach
Akari
Jorge.
Chargers.
Souza de Brito of the Akari Power Chargers.
And you know, Neil, there are a lot of debates on how you pronounce his name because he is Brazilian. But right now, we will call him Coach Jorge. As we get back to this game, 16, make that 17-9 is our score. Set number 3 for those who just tuned in. F2 won the past couple of sets, but PLDT trying to redeem themselves and extend this game. We have Rhea de Maculangan, 13 excellent sets for her. 17 serving 9. Iris will go to Eli Casilag. Prado. They're gonna chase it and send it over. Prado again. That is outside. Breathing room for F2.
No challenge on the side of PLDT. This is still a 7-point lead. That's good enough of a lead to actually extend this match to a fourth. But it's not impossible for F2 Logistics to actually come back of this situation. They do have Myla Pablo in the front row. They also have Ivy Laxina. So there are a lot of options for Iris Tolinata to set up their offense.
And they have Don Macandili too. And Eli Casilag. Prado will try again. Better defense for F2. Behag. Chance here for the yellow shirts. And Tolenada will give it to Pablo. What a dig there a while ago by Arado.
No entry, says Del Palomata against Ivy Laxina. Now, PLDT, a totally different team we're seeing right now. After losing the first 2 frames to the Cargo Movers, they're now up by 8.
As F2 will call for time.
Mas madaming dumidepensa sa likod. Kailangan yung dire-diretso rin kayo. Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-stop. Ay, nakuha yung palo ko. Hindi, don't stop. Diretso lang, diretso. Be aggressive. Okay? Naintindihan? Sige lang. It's an opportunity and matuto. Let's go.
Hindi pa tapos sa 18. Habulin natin to. F2, move!
Score now is 18-10 in favor of the high-speed hitters. We have Cha Behag making her return to competitive volleyball and debuting in the PVL for the first time. PLDT so far so good here in set number 3. Much better showing for them. If you compare how they did in the past 2 sets, mas may sense of urgency na yung PLDT. Tolenada will go to Laxina. And that is outside. Things not looking too good here for F2 in set number 3, Neil.
9 points, biggest lead of PLDT in this entire game. Now you see the connection of all the skills of PLDT from blocking to transition offense. Lahat na pulido na. That's why they have this lead.
A lot of familiarity here in the side of PLDT. They're playing cohesively here in set number 3 as Tolenada will give it to Laxina. Finally, they get a point. Lead 8 points. They're chasing 8 points here in our set number 3. If they want to finish this game,
that's a viable option for Iris Tolenada. Pag hindi masyadong perfect yung receive, she can actually ask Ivy Laxina to approach for that long running attack.
The Makulangan will go to Palumata. They go to Behag. Palumata again. With a little help of the net. And this is possibly the first time I've seen Myla this expressive on the court. Usually we're used to her, again, being soft-spoken, a little quiet, a little timid.
She is the current top scorer for the Cargo Movers. And you don't want na mapagod siya nang hindi pa natatapos yung ball game.
And she's leading all scorers here in this game with 18 big points. Mendres, quality minutes for her. It's now a pretty big lead for the high-speed hitters.
This substitution worked for Coach Raldrica Ford. Mian Mendres doing a great job offensively. Michelle Morente contributing dun sa backcourt defense.
We have Del Palamata, 9 points off 6 attacks, 2 blocks, 1 ace. And the woes continue here for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. And we're gonna see another substitution here for F2. We have Chini Arroyo be coming in for Myla. She deserves this break, this rest. Chini Arroyo out of National University. Let's take a look at this. That was off the hands of Eli Casilag. Iris will go to Behag. That will be point number 2 for Cha Behag, and she's getting the loudest cheers here in the Phil Sports Arena.
I remember parang in interview si Coach Regine Diego about the comeback of Cha Behag, and she was saying na you also have to set expectations because it's been 4 years since she last played competitively. But so far so good. 2 points already for Cha Behag.
And she needs just to put in those reps. A couple more games, but Ivy Laxina will serve that straight to the net. It looks like this will go PLDT's way. 22-13 is our score as Mitch Morente on deck to serve for PLDT. That is outside the exchange service errors.
Full front line still for F2 Logistics, Casilag, Maraño, and Behag. Myla Pablo on the bench. Pahinga daw muna siya, sabi ni Coach Regine Diego.
De Maculangan will go to Mean Mendres. Tolenada gives it to Behag.
That was just too low for Cha Behag. She was asking for a higher set from Iris Tolenada.
Yeah, she was signaling to Iris Tolenada. Higher next time. She was pointing up. Well, it's good to get exposure also for the newcomers of F2. Coach Reg Diego had the right idea in mind to let everybody play. Arroyo overcooks that one.
PLDT just 1 point away from finally getting on the board.
Set point now for the high-speed hitters. Mean Mendres serving. Tolenada to Casilag. As the Maculangan will set up Jovi Prado. Don will give it to Arroyo. That is 2 attack errors in a row for the PVL rookie, Chini Arroyo. And PLDT will extend this ball game. They get set number 3, 25-14. More volleyball action when we return. Back here, you're watching the PVL, Heart of Volleyball All-Filipino Conference. PLDT high-speed hitters take set number 3 from the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers, 25-14. And from the get-go, Neil, it was really PLDT's set. What can you say about what happened? What did F2 not do? And what did PLDT do?
Everything happened so fast for PLDT. They first established a 2-3 point lead, then they never looked back. And we have to give credit mainly to Mika Reyes kasi it was her consecutive points that really gave that disparity between PLDT and F2 Logistics. And Rhea de Macolangan just kept giving most of the sets papunta sa middle blockers, and they got rewarded with set number 3. And maganda rin yung substitution na nangyari for Mean Mendrez and Michelle Morente. 3 blocks for the high-speed hitters with 2 service aces, and they really maximized the 8 unforced errors that the Cargo Movers gave up in that set.
So there you have it. PLDT, they force an extension of this game as the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers only put up 14 points in set number 3. And as Neil mentioned, it was Mika Reyes who led the way for PLDT, but we can't also forget Jovi Prado and her heroics. We gotta commend her excellent play as well in this game to keep PLDT afloat. And for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers, aside from Myla Pablo, Neil, who has stood out to you?
Well, aside from Myla Pablo, it really has been Abby Maraño doing the damage for the Cargo Movers. I mean, she has had a couple of block points already. Yung mga running hits niya, mapa-short or mapa-long. Good connection with Kim Fajardo. So, magandang suporta yun dun sa numbers na ibinibigay ni Myla Pablo for F2 Logistics.
And on your screens, we have Shola Alvarez, Tin Chamzon, and of course, Majoy Baron, and the parents of KKD in attendance. We all know who they're rooting for, of course. As Mika Reyes, we mentioned her. Team captain, Ivy Laxina. I'm sure glad to have Myla Pablo, another former NU Lady Bulldog. KKD, fresh from her vacation in Japan. And Rhea de Macolangan, rather, our veteran setter, finding the good mix for her team. Set number 4 underway. Thank you for joining us on One Sports Plus, Smart Live Stream, and the Signal Play app. Billy Capistrano with Neil Flores and Rain Texon giving us the latest from the sidelines. We have Kim Fajardo welcoming us with a serve. De Macolangan will go to Palumata. Good defense by Macandili. They're gonna send this one over. And they go to Palumata again. When you're just that tall, it's what an advantage for you.
And ito talaga yung nakakuha ng maraming puntos in set number 3. These quick attacks from Mika Reyes and Del Palomata. So F2 Logistics already know that itong mga hits na to ay dadating eh. So it's all about establishing your blocking pattern and your support behind the blockers.
PLDT gets the first point. They draw first blood in set number 4. Kneeling set, Kim Fajardo to Laxina. Effective, they get the point.
It was a high set from Kim Fajardo, pero buti na lang matangkad itong si Ivy Laxina. She was able to reach that ball.
Barely grazing her fingertips, still making it work. We're tied at 1-all. As Myla Pablo, well, there is a bit of a wait. They're trying to make sure the floor is safe, nice and dry. As Myla Pablo on deck to serve for the yellow shirts. Right now, she has 18 points in this game. And that will be a service ace for Myla Pablo.
That's one of the rare moments that you see Kat Arado make a mistake on the first pass.
It's also a good matchup, Arado versus Macandili here in our game. Myla Pablo will serve again. Morente, De Macolangan will go to Prado.
Wanted to go for a cross-court shot, but low clearance on that swing for Jovi Prado. Now F2 Logistics again starting out well in set number 4.
And you did say, Neil, that there was a trend. If F2 started well or if PLDT started well, we're going to see how everything is going to pan out here. Palomata gets another point for her team. And she scores the first 2 points for the high-speed hitters in set number 4. Jovi Prado will serve for PLDT. She has 10 points. That will be a service ace, maybe 11 points for Jovi Prado.
You can also see the balance of production on the side of the high-speed hitters. I think 2 or 3 players are already on double digits. Jovi Prado, Mika Reyes, and potentially Del Palomata.
Prado will serve again. Almost a service ace. Kiana D, she's been a little silent, not for long. Gets a point.
Kat Arado was guarding that down the line hit of KKD, but she changed direction. Actually, that's one of the things that I noticed dito sa Cargo Movers. They're trying their best. Nahiiwas yung mga hits nila or serves kay Kat Arado. They're finding different targets on the floor for the high-speed hitters.
Which has been effective for the most part for F2. They hold on to a slim 1-point lead. They go to Mean Mendres. She's been doing well here. Let's turn it over to Rain Texon for her report. Go ahead, Rain.
Something shifted on the side of PLDT as they came up more aggressive in set number 3. In the earlier part of the match, Coach Raldrick Fort reminded the high-speed hitters to create points and not to wait for F2 to create some errors. He also reminded the squad to maximize every opportunity as they had trouble converting points in the first 2 sets. Mika Reyes also came up huge, ending with 13 points off of 10 attacks and 3 blocks in the end of the 3rd set. Can Mika and PLDT extend this to a 5th? Billy and Neil?
That is something we'll have to wait and see if it'll happen, Rain. Well, if you are a PLDT faithful, you're really crossing your fingers and your toes that they do extend this to a 5th set. On the other hand, the F2 fans, I'm sure they want to end it here in this one. That will be another free point given to PLDT, much to the dismay of Coach Reg Diego. We got another deadlock here in set number 4, 5-all, as Mitch Morente will prepare to serve for the high-speed hitters. Also an impressive first game for Morente. Good dig by Arado. Here comes Mean Mendres. She is denied. Don Macandili. Bunch of scrappy plays for both our teams. Mendres, that will be outside. Go outside for Mean. Puntos para sa F2.
It's a great battle between the liberos on the floor as well. We've been mentioning Myla Pablo a lot, Jovi Prado, Mika Reyes, but yung effort ni Don Macandile and Kat Arado always keep these teams afloat.
Absolutely agree with you, Neil. I mean, 2 of the best liberos we have in the country, Kath Arado out of UE, and of course Don Macandili from DLSU. Here comes Mean Mendres. A little too late for Don Macandili. We're now at 6-all.
Delicate touch. Sometimes nga, Billy, it takes a lot of practice to master yung ganyang kadelicate na hit.
There's a lot of control as well. You have to control, especially when you're up in the air. And you have to shift that momentum. As Mendres will serve again. That is way, way, way outside for Mean Mendres. Free point for F2. 1-point lead.
Now Ivy Lacsina is back for the Cargo Movers alongside Myla Pablo.
It was a great transition for Ivy Lacsina from playing collegiate volleyball to the pros. Seamless transition for her. But that will be a net touch violation. As I was talking about her, Ivy Lacsina.
Right now, these teams are just exchanging points. One team needs to break away.
Mika Reyes, we remembered, she had a great 3rd set for PLDT. hoping to replicate that here in this fourth set as Kim Fajardo will give it to Laksina. Palomata will set up Prado. Ball is still alive. Credit Don Macandili. Kiana D. Sabihin na natin kung saan napunta yung bola niyo.
Papunta na sa atin, hindi po kami kasali sa game, but we will enter that technical timeout with F2 on top by 1.
Let's take a look at that last sequence one more time. It was Kiana D to Macandili, and again, Don Macandili just saving that ball, giving way for that Kiana D attack that landed directly here at the panel. Well, of course, Don Macandili alongside Kath Arado, as I've mentioned, two of the best liberos that we have in the country today. They're just so hardworking when it comes to defense. And that is why they are at the top of the list when we talk about liberos here in the Philippines. As we get back to this game, Fajardo to serve. Jovi Prado. Kim will give it to Myla. She's blocked. Kiana D will try again. Second straight point for KKD.
Palomata took her eyes off that ball. It was a good rebound. Mabagal yung balik sa kanila, but hindi nakita na nasa harapan pa niya yung bola. So that will be a point for F2 Logistics.
And in this set, we are seeing KKD come alive. She was a bit silent in the previous set. As Kim Fajardo will serve 9 serving 7. Limakulangan to Palomata. And that was a quick attack by Palomata. She has been doing that this whole game.
That was a good receive from Prado. And it all starts there. I mean, we always give credit to the attackers on how they finish the play. But again, kung walang magandang first ball, hindi magiging posible yung mga sets.
Fajardo one head set to Pablo. Arado will give it to Morente. And that will go to Morente and the PLDT high-speed hitters. That is her third point of the game.
You know, she doesn't get a lot of sets when she's in the front line because Jovi Prado is there and Del Palomata is there. But again, the biggest contributions that she has brought to the table in this game, to be specific, would be her receiving and digging. Even dung panahon na naglalaro pa siya sa Ateneo, forte na talaga niya yung depensa.
She is really known for that, and Mitch Morente has just been relentless on defense for PLDT, doing what she can. And this time, Prado will attack. She gets it.
Speed is the best friend of Jovi Prado when she gets these C sets from Rhea de Maculangan. And she doesn't wait for the blockers and talagang pinapalo niya agad. That's why she gets the job done for PLDT.
Right now, 10-9 is our score. PLDT this time holding on to that lead. They go to Pablo. Another smart play by Myla Pablo using the hands of Del Palomata.
When you have broken plays on the side of your opponent, judgment call then ng middle blocker if you're going to actually go for that approach, because sometimes naiiba yung direction, nagiging puntos pa for F2 Logistics.
Jovi Prado. You see what we were saying about miss everything? That was Chabehag, but
a net violation
there's
will
a
be
net
called.
violation.
by F2 Logistics, net touch.
And Cha was pretty confident, putting her hands on her hips, saying, nope, I did not touch that net, but we will see.
And she loved that block. I mean, one-on-one against Jovi Prado.
We're going to see what the final call is. But that is why she is called Miss Everything. She can dig, she can receive, she can spike, she can block. And as Neil said a while ago, she can also be a libero. So right now we are in our 5th challenge, if I am not mistaken, of this game. So F2 is saying that there was no touch.
Yup, there was a net touch.
A net touch.
The slightest of touches. And meron kasi siyang arm sleeve, so sometimes you don't get to feel
Yes, exactly. So
that tape of the net.
it's either you have a sleeve or it's adrenaline, you don't notice, or it's the smallest of touches that you can barely notice that you graze the net. But that was an unsuccessful challenge for F2. The point will remain with PLDT.
And that happened right in front of the first referee.
As Jovi Prado will serve, Kim Fajardo will go to Cha Behag, but that will not go over for Cha.
PLDT gets a 2-point lead, the biggest so far of any team in this 4th frame. Jovi Prado still targeting Myla Pablo. That has been their strategy to take her out of the equation para ma-force si Kim Fajardo to give it to Cha Behag, Ivy Lacsina, or Kim Fajardo, because we know na deadly pa rin si Myla Pablo on that pipe attack.
And that was Mitch Morente. A bit more explosive here in terms of offense in our 4th set.
Powering through the double block of Cha Behag and Ivy Lacsina.
That's Morente's 4th point. As Jovi Prado, 12 points under her belt. Kim Fajardo to Kiana D with a clean cross court.
The silencer, Kim Kiana D, with a bullet of a shot. Del Palomata again too late to close out that cross court angle.
And Kiana's not smiling anymore, which means she means business. 13 to 11. Lacsina with a serve. That was way to the left side of the court. That'll be a service error for Lacsina. That is her 3rd of the game. Back to a 2-point lead for PLDT. They exchange service errors. And this point will go to F2.
Nandito manghihinayang yung mga coaching staff. Because these are the things that you can actually control.
KKD, 12 serving 14. Mendres. They're gonna give this to Pablo. And that is outside for Myla.
PLDT maintaining a safe distance between them and the cargo movers.
And so far for PLDT, good adjustments for Coach Ralph Recafort. We're seeing more of Mitch Morente as well as Mean Mendres. Kim Fajardo will go to Behag. She's denied. But that will be a violation on Mika Reyes. Net touch violation. And they're going to call it.
Yep, they will challenge. They still have a 3-point lead, so that might be a good decision. I mean, you can gamble on one of your 2 challenge opportunities, and now that they have the lead, Coach Ralph Recafort will actually pull that challenge card up.
So they're saying that there is no net touch violation. And Mika Reyes, it was called on her, and she was pretty confident that there was none. So we will see how this will go. A while ago, F2 was the one who called, and they said that there was no block touch, but indeed there was. So let's see if this time around for PLDT. It will be a successful challenge as we gear up to watch our replay. Was there a net touch violation?
Yep, there was a net touch
There
by Rhea de Maculangan.
Oh, that was Rhea de Maculangan and not Mika Reyes.
Succession na daw tayo.
They're saying there is. They're still looking at the screen and trying to clarify everything, but the challenge will be unsuccessful and the point will remain with F2.
Both teams already losing one challenge opportunity, so you have to be able to use your last one at the right moment.
Mika Reyes just tucks it in, gets a point, and PLDT in the lead as we head on over to our second technical timeout. Back here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City. Thank you for joining us on One Sports Plus, Smart Live Stream, and the Signal Play app. We have the PLDT High Speed Hitters led by their team captain Mika Reyes, newcomer Mitch Morente, their veteran setter Rhea de Maculangan versus F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. We have Cha Behad making her debut here in the PVL. We have KKD and, of course, Myla Pablo taking her talents to the side of the Cargo Movers. Right now, our score is 16-13 in favor of PLDT. If they win the set, they extend it to a fifth and final set. But if you're F2, you just want to finish it right here. Mayan Mendres has been playing very well for Coach Ralph Ricafort, as Kim Fajardo will set up Myla Pablo. Cazarado to Jovi Prado. Fajardo gives it to Myla. Prado this time again. KKD was there. Another rally going on here. Fajardo. Babalik kay Pablo. Tough angle, tough set. Myla Pablo again just challenging the blockers of PLDT. Joust at the net. Jovi Prado trying to pacify things as Pablo. Jovi Prado.
Oh! Unexpected end to that
And she did
long
not give
rally.
up. Did not give up on that one.
And she didn't wait for any coverage anymore. After getting blocked, Joey Prado putting it over. Getting another point for the high-speed hitters.
You know, we've been talking about how smart she is, how hardworking she is as well. You know, Jovi's not the flashiest of players, but she is just so efficient, so smart.
Again, very high volleyball
Yes,
IQ
and
for
great
Joey
court
Prado.
sense. So 4-point lead now for PLDT. Good defense by F2. Chance here for PLDT. They're gonna give it to Jovi Prado. Why not? Fajardo to Pablo. That does not go over for Myla.
You'll just love the adjustment on the defensive side of things for Coach Ral Ricafort. They have been closing that zone 1 area kasi kanina pa pumupunto si Myla Pablo. And dun sa cross-court naman, nakabantay si Kat Arado and Jovi Prado.
As we listen into a timeout rather called by F2.
Parang sa gitna. Pero kailangan yung... Okay, Chini, papasok ka muna ngayon. Try mo si Ate Mela. Hindi kayo aggressive, walang may gusto mag-manalo sa loob. Ay, tihan. Tihan nyo? Oh, let's go.
Let's go! We're group pa. We're group pa. Challenge lang to, ha? Kaya natin to together. F2! Movers!
5-point advantage for the PLDT high-speed hitters as the adjustments worked for Coach Rald Ricafort. Na-check si Myla Pablo, especially here in this fourth set.
Arroyo is back in the game. She will try to redeem herself after back-to-back errors in the previous frame, replacing Myla Pablo.
She did have two back-to-back attack errors, talking about Chini Arroyo. And this is her first time here playing in the PVL out of National University. Jovi Prado, that will be a point for F2.
Good decision for Kat Arado to let that go. Now they have a 6-point lead against the Cargo Movers. Looking good.
Yeah, and I stand corrected. That is a point for PLDT. From this angle, kind of thought that Arado touched it, but let it go instead. So 19-13 is our score. Abby Maraño.
That is outside for Maraño. This lead has ballooned to 7. PLDT just 5 points away from taking us to our first 5-setter match here in the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
And indeed, a welcome back to all of us.
Welcome back, Bailey.
And Neil. And of course, welcome back to F2 and PLDT as well. It is a 7-point push for the high-speed hitters. And if they're playing the way they're playing right now, they keep doing it, we might just go into that 5th set. The Makulangan go to Reyes. Makandili, pupuntahan si Arroyo. And that is another attack error, 3rd for her in this game. Indeed, you know, there are still some adjustments that she has to make. Credit that to some rookie jitters. A new system as well.
Service Mendres.
Mendres on deck to serve.
And she scores.
F2 will definitely call for a timeout after that misreception.
F2 Logistics.
Wala nangyayari. Kayo ang problema. Walang ginagawa yung kalaban nyo. Nakatayo lang sila, pupunta yung bola sa kanila. Naintindihan nyo? Kasi hindi nyo gusto. You have to want this. Bibigay sa inyo to. You have to want this.
F2! Movers! Di ba kami sa
And straight from Coach Reg Diego's mouth, you have to want this. Simply put, they gotta work harder. Because right now, it seems like PLDT wants it more than them. And basically, she was telling F2 that they're shooting themselves in the foot because PLDT hasn't really been doing anything. But of course they are. And they have just been incredible in sets 3 and 4. We gotta credit them. And finally,
That's more like it, says Abby Maraño. And you can still recall, nung 3rd set pa lang, Coach Reg Diego was already giving reminders na medyo bumabagal tayo. We have to keep the pace up.
and they can't let PLDT dictate the tempo of this ball game. 22-14 in favor of PLDT. Laxina will give it to Arroyo, and finally, after a couple of mishaps for Chini Arroyo, she gets her first point in the PVL.
Welcome to the PVL, Chini Arroyo.
And there is definitely that learning curve from playing in the collegiate leagues to the pros, especially with a new team and a team like F2. 22-15 is our score. Prado. Tolenada will give it to Eli Casilag.
Back-to-back clean hits for the Cargo Movers. This substitution might just do the trick for them as they're still trailing by 6.
And that is very doable. That is very doable. But if you're PLDT, you just gotta play your game against F2. Maraño will serve for F2, 8 points for her. Arado, pupuntahan si Prado. A chance here for the cargo mover. Siguro Casilag again.
That's another point for Elaine Casilag, this time going off the hands of Jovi Prado.
That's back-to-back points for Eli Casilag. Using the blocker in front of her. Maraño continues to serve. Smart move by the veteran Reda Macolangan. That was a 1-2 play. 23-17 now.
Now Del Palomata can actually end this one with her quick attacks. Two strongest attackers right now in the front for the high-speed hitters.
Mika Reyes, 14 points. She will be serving. Way off for the team captain. And we have substitutions right on cue for Coach Reg Diego and the rest of the cargo movers. KKD comes in, Tolenada and Casilag will rest as Fajardo will come in as well. And you see on your screen someone from PLDT. We're gonna check who that is. That is Kath Arado. Just resting, just resting a little bit. Well, she deserves to rest. Isa Veray checks in for PLDT. Palomata, nandoon si Fajardo. They're gonna give it to Behag. Prado. Macandili will go to KKD.
Net violation called on Jovi Prado.
And don't look now, Neil. Paunti na ng paunti yung lamang ng PLDT.
You see how crucial substitutions are,
Yes.
Billy. I mean, Coach Reg Diego just wanted to change the flow of the cargo movers in the past few rallies when they regained that confidence, ibinalik niya na ngayon yung mga starters niya.
And this will prompt Coach Ral to call for time.
Di ba ang goal naman natin, ito yung pattern nila. So kung kakabig, hindi pwede stuck mo dito. Haba nyo talaga dyan. Okay, mahaba dun sa kay pala kanina. Depende sa magiging set. Pero iusog nyo na nga muna dito. Para kung kumagat man, makahabol nung gapi paglalagyan. Ha? Yun lang talaga, pag bumuka yung pasa, huwag mo bubukay set. Nahihirapan dumiskado yun sa pabila. Tara, dalawa na lang.
LDT! And just like that, 23-19 is our score. This is PLDT versus F2, set number 4. So this is where we're gonna see if we extend to a 5th and final set, or can F2 mount a comeback here in our 4th set. Jovi Prado tucks it in.
There was some extra juice on that hit. He knows that they're almost there. Jovi Prado giving the 24th point to the high-speed hitters. 1 point away from sending us to set number 5.
Set point for the PLDT high-speed hitters. Chini Arroyo, cross court, no good. Prado straight to the net. Lucky point for F2, keeping them alive here in our set.
It was an awkward approach for Jovi Prado.
We are now at 24-20. F2 fighting to stay alive here in our 4th set. Chini Arroyo, the rookie, making her pro debut. And she will serve for F2. A good serve for her. Better defense from PLDT. That was Isa Veray. KKD. It does not budge. It will go to PLDT. And that is it. We are going to a 5th and final set. So a little recap. Sets number 1 and 2 went to F2. sets number 3 and 4 went to PLDT. What a game we're having now, and the volleyball action continues when we return. Back here, you're watching the PVL All-Filipino Conference, and we are going to a 5th and final set, the deciding set for both our teams, PLDT high-speed hitters up against the F2 Logistics cargo movers. And Neil, this is our first 5th setter game this conference.
On opening day, the Creamline 2 Smashers won in 3 straight sets against the Petrogas Angels, and Choco Mucho also won in 3 straight sets against the Akari Chargers. So yeah, this is going to be our first 5-setter of the conference. Set number 4 definitely was all PLDT. I mean, they were able to establish a 7-point lead again, just like in set number 3. Never looked back, and for F2 Logistics, there were just some lapses in decision making and execution.
You know, they wanted to mount a comeback late in that 4th set, but again, it was just too late because PLDT had just taken control of that set number 4 as we take a look at our statistics for that set.
And just like set number 3, PLDT had more attack points, and we credit that dahil kahit papano na-neutralize ng defenders ng F2 ng PLDT rather, si Myla Pablo. That's why bumaba yung numbers niya. That's why you also saw substitution for Chini Arroyo there. PLDT also had 1 block and 2 service aces on the errors. Parehas lang ulit.
So we will see who will win this game, their first game of their first game of the All-Filipino Conference. F2 going up against PLDT, Billy Capistrano, Neil Flores, Rain Texon, our broadcast team for today. And we also have another game coming up. Later on, it's the Cherry Tigo Crossovers going up against the Signal HD Spikers right after this one. So it was supposed to start at 6 p.m., but this game is just on another level. First 5-setter of our new conference, of this new season in the PVL. You have Abby Maraño, team captain, fired up, ready to go. Del Palomata, tallest player we have here in the league. A lot of great quick attacks from her, and Mika Reyes, who was a fire starter for PLDT in that 3rd set. Can't forget Ivy Laxina out of National University. One of the promising young middle blockers that we have, and Myla Pablo, one of the newest additions for F2. Joey Prado as well, doing so well here in our game. Here we go, set number 5 underway. Del Palomata as Fajardo back set to KKD. They go to Prado. Fajardo will give it to Myla Pablo. She's been silent. Prado again. That is outside. They're going to call for a check. We can see it.
It's going to be a net
there's a net touch
challenge. First point pa lang, you can already see the importance of setting the tone in set number 5. It's going to be a race to 15. No room for errors for both teams because you really want to start your campaign here in the All-Filipino Conference with a huge win.
And a confidence booster for them if they do indeed, win this game, whoever it may be, whether it's PLDT or F2, it's really going to help their campaign for the rest of this conference. So they're going to call a net touch violation. We have Coach Arnold Lanyog, assistant coach, and he's the one on the lookout for these kinds of things. And he said there was a net touch violation. Of course, did you notice it, Neil? Or we were too focused on the attack of Jovi Prado?
Although the net moved, I'm
Right.
not just sure if it was because of a net touch. Yep,
Oh, the knee. It was a knee.
it was definitely a net touch from Ivy Laxina.
That was the knee of Ivy Laxina.
Yung last action yun yung blocking.
Pero, nauna po yung bola.
Hindi. Ano talaga? Ano pwede yun? Kasi yung last action natin, paut ang bola, din nag-request na ako. Nag-touch na sila. Hindi lang nag-buzzer. Ha?
Pero di ba, sir, ang rule naman pag unang bagsak bola?
Hindi pa kami. Sa action na yun. Last action kasi yun. Pwede natin ano yun. Pag last action kasi na.
So we had Chabehag trying to argue the mas nauna yung outside kesa doon sa net touch violation. But you know, in these circumstances, Neil, what really happens?
Yeah, I mean, in the middle of the play, naitaas na agad yung challenge card ng PLDT. So that was a valid opportunity that they won.
That will be a point for F2, I believe.
Another challenge will be called by the coaching staff of the high-speed hitters.
Will they?
They retract
retracted.
that decision.
But you know, we can clearly see that PLDT is not wasting any time. That point will go and will stay with F2 Logistics. We're tied at 1-all, first deadlock of our fifth set as Myla Pablo on deck to serve. Damakulangan to Palumata. Calf will go to KKD. Single block by Morente.
Oh,
Nakapos lang ng konti for Chabehag. The intention was there.
the set was already far from the net. She tried to put it over, but she mistimed that hit. But good defense being shown to us by Michelle Morente.
PLDT and 2, F2 Logistics 1. Jovi Prado, excellent game for her as Kim Fajardo will chase it and give it to Behag. She's denied. Makandili will go to Kiana. Doesn't go over, does not cross over. Puntos para sa F2.
When everything is happening so fast, it's very important to be able to control yung speed ng bola, especially on that first touch. Kanina nagkakagulo. So ang tendency, pag nagmamadali yung receiver, umu-over yung bola and they don't get to set up their transition offense.
Ivy Laxina, she will be serving for the yellow shirts 2-all. Fajardo will give it to Pablo out of nowhere. Kath Arado will set it over to Mitch Morente. And that point will go to F2 as we send it over to Rain Tixon. Go ahead, Rain.
Like the all-reliable captain she is, Abby Maraño provided a spark to start a 3-point run late in the fourth set. While the cargo movers may let go of the set number 4, the change in body language of F2 was noticeable at the end of that set. Coach Reg reminded the squad that every point matters and they must enjoy and celebrate every opportunity. Kailangan natin magsama-sama was her parting words going into the fifth set. Now let's get back to more volleyball action here in the final set.
Thank you for that, Rain. Kailangan nga magsama-sama ng F2 if they do want to win this game. Well, right now, they're in a good position. They're leading by 2 points. And with such a short set like this, Neil, even 2 points is our luxury already.
And out of all of the sets that we played, yung fifth set, yung pinaka non-negotiable when it comes to committing unforced errors. PLDT already has 2.
Del Palumata, single block by Abby Maraño. They're gonna give this one to F2. It's a chance ball. Kim Fajardo to Abby. And Kath Arado, just relentless. But KKD, she's denied. Myla Pablo from the back row. They're gonna give it to Mean Mendres. Fajardo to Behag. And the trust that Kim Fajardo has in Chabehag Neil.
The Chabehag fans are alive. The F2 Logistics fans are just roaring here in the Phil Sports Arena. They do have a 3-point lead.
We call for time, and we will be right back.
Okay? Matanda kayo sa loob for a reason. You are so mature than them.
Okay. Mababa dito. Tumulong na kayo dito. Ha? Pero ang habol ko yung ilaban mo yung break ball. Kung wala man pasa. Ilalaban. Stop po tayo agad. Makabol tayo. Tara.
Reality!
The F2 Logistics Cargo Movers holding on to a 3-point advantage here in our 5th and final set. KKD coming alive in set number 5. And of course, Chabehag possibly getting the loudest cheers here in Phil Sports because of her return. As Ivy Laxina on deck to serve for the yellow shirts. Palomata. Better defense from F2. Here comes Kennedy. Caf Arado. Mayan Mendres with a drop. Quality minutes. We keep saying it, but it is very, very true for Mayan Mendres, Neil.
Now, Mika Reyes will be at the forefront of the offense and defense of the high-speed hitters in this rotation. She sparked that momentum in set number 3. And the rest of the team carried that on in set number 4. But will that be enough? Again, in the pregame, we said that there were a lot of what-ifs for PLDT. Ang daming close games that they could have won in the past conferences. So let's see if they can finally break through.
Well, they are known for having that slow start. But even here in that 5th set, you know, they start pretty slow, but they're catching up. They're picking up speed, and that will be an error for KKD. Cuts the lead down to 1. And oh, we have an adjustment. Ceballos will see action for the first time here in this game. This is Fiola Ceballos.
And again, she's still recovering from that injury, but it's nice to see her finally in uniform right now. She's being eased in as a service specialist and defensive specialist.
They're going to ask for a check. Referee says it's outside. Are they going to call a challenge? And they will. F2 will challenge and say that there was a touch on that. There was a touch on that, and they're gonna stand by. They're gonna stand by it. So very crucial moments like this. The assistant coaches, they really have to keep their eye on everything that's happening on the court. And the little things really, really matter the most. Again, both teams have 2 sets apiece. This is our set number 5 for those who just tuned in. And after this game, we also have another one. Again, my mistake, 6:30 was supposed to be the start of our second game. It's Cheritigo versus Signal. As we take a look at our screens, was there a block touch? It looks like there isn't. We don't see any finger movement, so I don't think it isn't. But F2, they're arguing that there was one.
So that will be an unsuccessful challenge. I mean, yung motion ng fingertips, pwedeng galing sa swing yun eh.
Right.
So based on that replay, based on the official review of our
It was unsuccessful.
table officials, it was an unsuccessful challenge. So that point will go to the high-speed hitters. Now we're tied at 5.
Makes it even more exciting. More volleyball for us, KKD. She is definitely someone you can rely on always. Talking about KKD, Kim Kennedy. Just when you need her, she delivers those valuable points. And they were late on the block as well, talking about Mika Reyes. They push it back to 1-point advantage. Kana serves. Rhea, single block, Abby Maraño. And now the F2 vets are stepping up.
Mika Reyes has scored a lot of quick attacks from the past few sets. And this time around, Abby Maraño timing it well, closing that preferred angle of Reyes.
And they really need to come together if they want to win this game. PLDT has that momentum coming from that 4th set. Morente, and coming from that attack from Mitch Morente. And we missed her on the court, Neil. She's so feisty, always so full of life. We missed that from her.
If there's one thing na hindi nawala kay Michelle Morente, it's really the power in her attacking. And she does want to regain her previous form.
So 1-point lead for F2.
Oh, that was
Ball's
already
alive.
outside.
I don't think Kiana noticed that it was on its way out, but F2 will call another challenge. They're saying it was a block touch.
If they are successful in this challenge, we will be replaying that point. A lot of challenges here in the fifth set.
You know, both our teams are not taking any chances, especially our assistant coaches standing by, you know, what they see on the court. This is a first game for both our teams. And what a win, what a big win for whoever clinches this victory.
That is
They're
a
pretty
valid
clear.
block touch, so they will retain that challenge opportunity and we will be replaying that point.
So there was a block touch on that. It was a successful challenge for F2 Logistics. The score now 7-6. Morente on deck to serve for the red shirts. They're down by 1 point. She has 11 excellent digs in this game, has been so great on defense, effective on defense. Chabehag. And what about Kath Arado? And PLDT, they will tie this game. Mendres having herself a game, Neil.
And pagka-tapak ni Man Mendres sa service line later, haharap na ngayon si Jovi Prado. And then that's the same for F2 Logistics. Myla Pablo, just a few rotations more para makaabot sa front line.
So it's going to be a fight to the end for both our teams as Morente serves. 5 points for her in this game. Fajardo will give it to Maraño. She is blocked. And that point will go to PLDT. And we're going to switch benches. Both teams will switch benches. And this is something that we're welcoming again in this edition of the PVL.
Double block, well established by the high-speed hitters. It's such a tight ball game. You never know who's gonna come out on top.
Again, 8-7 is our score. PLDT holding on to that slim 1-point lead. We have the former DLSU Lady Spikers, former teammates as well. Mika Reyes. A while ago, we saw Chabehag and Abby Maraño. Don Macandili. What a matchup with Kath Arado we're seeing today. They're all over the floor, and we have some substitutions, crucial ones for Coach Reg Diego, as Eli Casilag and Iris Tolenada. They were effective in the previous set. They will check back in. Mitch Morente. Right now, 5 points for her. Good debut for PLDT. And she will serve. Tolenada to Casilag. Rhea. Bogoromika, she is denied. Abby was right there waiting.
Yeah, it was too low of a set for a B-quick play. It would have worked if that was an A-quick play, pero masyadong mababa. Mika Reyes couldn't do anything about it, especially Abby Maraño was already guarding that zone.
We have Chabehag in her first game. And are they gonna call a challenge? We're trying to check the bench of PLDT.
That challenge will not be allowed by the referees, so there will be clarification between the first referee and the team captain of the high-speed hitters.
So play continues, the game continues. They're not gonna allow it. As Chabehag preparing to serve
Now the cargo movers have 3 attackers in the front row. On the other hand, for the high-speed hitters, they only have 2 in Men Mandres and Mika Reyes.
And they have the husband of Chabehag and Sol, of course. Her baby boy in attendance. And I'm sure they are so proud to see Cha playing again after nearly 4 or 5 years of resting and being a doting mom. And you can be both. Why not? Here we go. Chabehag serving. We're tied at 8-all. Demakulangan to Mendres. Tolenada will go to Pablo. They go back to Mendres.
Mendres challenging the single block of Elaine Casilag. PLDT is still with a 1-point lead. Both teams just crawling papunta sa 15-point mark. Now, Jovi Prado will be in the front row, so that's going to be a great matchup. Jovi Prado against Myla Pablo on the left pin for both teams.
So it's going to be a showdown of our outside hitters here. Mendres serving. Tolenada will give it to Maraño with the quick. Just what they needed.
Such speed and power from Abby Maraño. Perfect connection with Iris Tolenada. She just hit that straight down.
Now we have Ivy Laxina back on the court as well for the F2 Logistics cargo movers. Abby Maraño on deck to serve. Demakulangan will give it to Prado. Good save by Myla. They go to Behag. Again, we were talking about tempering those expectations when it comes to Cha, sabi nga ni Coach Reg.
And siguro in the mind of Cha, they had few more training sessions.
You just gotta put in the reps, and this is one out of many that we'll be seeing. And we have substitutions now for PLDT. We have Jessie De Leon. She will be serving. We're at 10-9 in favor of PLDT. That was a good serve. Makandili will give it to Pablo. Demakulangan sends it over to Jovi Prado. Tolenada saving it. Casilag, tough shot. Gets it. That was a tough angle, Neil.
It was a tight pass already. Now, babalik si Kim Fajardo and Kim Lee.
So that was a good substitution for Coach Reg Diego. Quality minutes for Tolenada and Eli Casilag. Another deadlock in our 5th. We've had 7 deadlocks in set number 5, Neil. Just a true testament to how close this game is. Nobody wants to lose. We're talking about that quick attack from Del Palamata. Well, there it is.
And that's how it should be done. Full conviction on these quick attacks. Sometimes it's going to be a gamble to give it to your middle blocker or your outside hitter. But when you have the likes of Del Palomata and Jovi Prado, I think kampante naman si Rhea Demakulangan kahit saan pa siya pumunta. And in case of emergency, there is Michelle Morente waiting in the right pin.
So back and forth affair for both our squads. Pablo to Fajardo, back set to Kiana D. Taking full control of that attack, Neil.
That was an excellent reverse set from Kim Fajardo to KKD, utilizing that power tip to get it through the loose block of Del Palomata.
And that's point number 15 for KKD. And she ties this game. But Del Palomata with another quick tip for this set. That is 16 points for Del Palomata. She is tied with Jovi Prado as the best scorers, leading scorers for PLDT. 12 serving 11. Fajardo to Laxina, and they're just exchanging points, exchanging skills at this point. We're not seeing a lot of rallies because they mean business. They want to win.
Even the sets of these centers, parang pareho eh. They have a quick attack. They also do reverse setting from time to time. Now Aragalang will be serving. She will be replacing Ivy Laxina.
And she hasn't been back on the court for quite some time. And the fans are just cheering for her here in the Phil Sports Arena. She will serve. Good serve for Ara. The Makulangan will go to Palumata. There was a net touch violation.
Even if they didn't commit that net touch, that was a clean hit from Del Palumata from the middle. Now Mika Reyes will try to do the finishing touches for the high-speed hitters. She will be supported by Mitch Morente and Mean Mendres. And as for the cargo movers, they still have Abby Maraño. High efficiency from that quick attack from the past few sequences.
So it's winning time for both our teams. As Mean Mendres will send it over to the yellow side. Makandili will give it to KKD. Had to make those adjustments. Could have been a lucky play. Chance here for F2. KKD. Well rested from that trip to Japan. She was silent a couple of sets ago, but here she is. Kim Kennedy just showing us what she is really capable of. 16 big points for Kiana. We are
F2
tied.
has to find their main attacker right now. No Myla Pablo on the floor.
Someone has to step up. Behag. Babalik sa F2 ang bola. Kiana, that was an awkward attack. And so Morente will try. Ball is still alive. They cannot relax. Behag. Arado will give it to Morente. And she gets it. And they are at match point. As Coach Reg Diego will call a timeout.
Over tayo, isang masipag lang, 1 point at a time. Okay? Abi, pasok kayo ng pasok. Naintindihan nyo? Walang bibitaw sa pasa. Okay? Atin to, huwag nyo ibigay. Atin to!
Confidence, let's go!
And we love to see it from Coach Reg Diego. Atin to, she says. They gotta stay hardworking. We have Kim Kiana D providing the points here for F2 in set number 5, the crucial points for them. But PLDT, they are at match point. And we will see how things will pan out here in the last few moments, possibly, of our set number 5, as Mitch Morente on deck to serve for the red shirts. Aragalang, Makandili will go to Behag. They're gonna play it safe. It's gonna be a chance ball. And they're gonna go to Mean Mendres.
No, that will be a point for the cargo movers. PLDT was already celebrating.
But not yet.
Net touch was called, and I think that was the right call to make. Mean Mendres, aside from the net touch, she actually crossed that center line.
There's her foot. Yep. Clear as day. So that will be a lucky break here for F2. And as Neil mentioned, PLDT, they were already celebrating. They thought this was theirs, but not quite yet. It's getting noisier and noisier as well here in the Phil Sports Arena. We got
first 5-setter, now we're at 14 all.
I won't be surprised if this takes a couple more minutes. We're at 14 all. No room for errors for both our squads. Cha Behag, she will serve for F2. That is a good serve from Cha. As the Makulangan will give it to Mendres. Kim Fajardo to Myla Pablo. The Makulangan to Mika. And Mika, she is blocked. She is is denied.
F2 Logistics led by Abby Maraño with a monster block against her former teammate in Mika Reyes. Mika Reyes was already asking for that ball, so it was very predictable for PLDT to go to that quick attack.
And Abby did not budge. She stayed where she was. Match point for F2. There was a joust at the net. They're going to give this one to Kiana. Can she end it? She does.
F2 Logistics win this game.
And you know, Neil, we got to credit both teams. It could have gone either way, especially here in this fifth set. They were just exchanging points. And we really did not know who this game was going to go to. But Kiana D, I mean, she just showed us what kind of player she was this whole game. Providing those points when it was needed the most.
Quality volleyball that we saw. PLDT had that opportunity to end that rally with that free ball, but there was an unforced error committed on their side. And now F2 Logistics will notch their first win here in the All-Filipino Conference of the PVL.
So there you have it. F2 takes this game, first five-setter of our All-Filipino Conference. 14-16 in set number 5. Take a look at the scores: 22-25, 21-25, 25-14, and 25-20. And what a treat for all our volleyball fans. And we got who else but Don Macandili.
35 excellent digs, 10 excellent receptions, no doubt about that. She was very consistent through the 5 sets that we played, and a well-deserved victory for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. But we also have to give credit to Myla Pablo and KKD for leading the offense of the Cargo Movers.
Absolutely. Don Macandili, the unsung hero for the F2 Logistics Cargo Movers. And of course, we got more volleyball action coming your way. Charity or Crossovers will take on the Signal HD Spikers. Now, on behalf of my partner Neil Flores, our courtside reporter Ray Texon, Derek Alneri, and all the amazing people behind this production, I'm Billy Capistrano. And this has been the 2023 PVL All-Filipino Conference. Don't go away, the volleyball action continues in our second game.